Well, this tea badger here got another project that not looking forward to. I have a yard hydrant, and it is inside of the shop here in a little washroom, and it's leaking. So it is going to have to be replaced. Um, it leaks somewhere in the pipe, not from the mechanical parts of the actual pump itself, but I'm the only thing I can guess is that somewhere along the pipe, as the water comes up the pipe, it floods out and starts spraying water underneath the ground and on top of the ground. And what I'm dealing with is I don't know if you can see it or not, but that is the pipe. It is up under there a good ways, about 18 inches in. And so this is what I've dug out. It has rained, it is wet, it is saturated. And so I have a lot of mud, rock, clay, and water to deal with. And so this is what I did yesterday after work, and I'm just going to continue on again today. I'll show you the yard hydrant. It is inside here. Lighting's very poor, but that's it right there. And so it's just inside here on concrete, so I'm having to kind of dig underneath this structure to get to it so I can remove it and the mud and the water and everything else. So you get to digging. I got my rubber shoes on. I need boots, but all I have are shoes. But it doesn't really matter. It's misting rain, but again, I'm going to get wet and nasty anyway, so I'll give you an update here when I after I do some digging. All right, so dug this out, and you can see the pipe a little bit better. This was probably a solid hour of digging and playing in mud. But I've got to the pipe, I've got it exposed, and I got to the bottom of the pipe. So it was pretty much all rock. There's just a layer of mud on top and mostly clay, but all of it was rock. So it was some heavy shoveling going on. There is a hole in the pipe. You can't see it because of the lighting, but we found the problem and we found it where it connects. So basically at that point, I'm going to call it quits for the day. I'm going to come and use the backhoe tomorrow. We've got it stored over here. It's called Bertha. It's still raining, so still unpleasant, but got wet anyway. I got so nasty today that I had to actually strip and hose myself down. I was pretty much a cake of mud from head to toe. Luckily, my neighbors are a good distance away, and they're older and probably not the best eyesight, so I think everything will be all right. But got this done tomorrow. I'll use the backhoe, get a bigger hole so I can fit in it. I'm not the smallest guy, and that's where we'll be. All right, so got the backhoe front loader, as we call it, Bertha. That's what it was named when we bought it. Got out here and did some backhoe, and then did the rest with a shovel again. Got the pipe fully exposed and dry and ready for plumbing. So that will be the next thing that I do. I've already got the yard hydrant, and now I'm going to go to the big box store and pick up all my guts and connections and everything that I need, and then I will get up and start on this first thing in the morning. Glad that I'm through digging for right now. Of course, I'll have to be digging to fill it back up. Got quite a bit of rock and clay. The clay is really impressive here. It's all colors. It's gray, it's blue, it's really something to see. Let's see if I can zoom in here and let you see the colors. It's got some blue, some gray. It's pretty wild, but anyway, that's what I will be working on tomorrow. And just for reference, this is what we have here. This is Bertha. Again, we did not name it Bertha. It was already named Bertha. Um, I will probably do a video on Bertha. It's quite an impressive creature here. But for right now, that is what helps me out a whole lot. So let me get to the store, get some parts, and check back again later. So we finally got all that done. So the plumbing is done. The new hydrant, yard hydrant, is hooked up, and I'm gonna try to get a zoom in here if I can. Get this. Kind of see. There we go. All right. So now there's water in the bottom. I don't know if it picks up or not, but that was there when we left it, so we can't really tell if there's any leak. We're hoping that there isn't, of course, but we're just going to let that sit and dry up. Hopefully it will dry up and we can tell that there's no leaks, and we will consider this to be a success. So we'll give it a couple of days, come back and check and see what it looks like. Well, this is where we've been for a while. Still can't tell if it's leaking or not. Basically, we get the water out, it rains, it fills back up, we get the water out, so on, so on, so on. So I got to get in there now, and I think we've got a period of a few dry days. I'll get in there with a turkey baster and suck up as much water as I can possibly get. And then hopefully, God willing, no rain, we will see if it's leaking, and then we can fill it back up. So that's where we are on the yard hydrant as of right now. It's been probably a week of rain, and we're just kind of in holding mode right now with this. We'll touch base again when we can actually get some days it's dry and hopefully see that it's not leaking. Well, there hasn't been a whole lot to update last, I'm guessing, 3 months since this was dug and fixed. It has rained so much, and basically this is finally got a chance. It didn't quit raining, but I tarped it up and dug it out a little bit deeper, and got a break in the weather for about 5 days where I could actually check, and I saw that my plumbing was tight and there was no leaks. So this is just covering it back up. I'm going to take some rock and make it look pretty, but I'm so glad. This is a beautiful sight of just dirt, no more piles. It was a gigantic pile of dirt, and now it's fresh dirt, and the very last step will be to remove this rail here that was from the old sliding garage door, and put some rock on it and finish it out so that it looks like it was never a problem. But I'm so excited, so excited. Been a long time in the making. So I'll check to make sure. I'll have to look back, see when this was dug out, but I'm guessing probably May. So it's been 3 months. Anyway, that is a beautiful sight for me. Well, the saga is finally over. It has been a long time coming, and to be exact, it's been 3.5 months. 3.5 months since I first dug out the leaking yard hydrant. Here is the old yard hydrant here. Get some light. So this is the old yard hydrant. You can see the hole in the pipe there. There's more if I flip it over, but I'm not. But there was, I think, 3 in total. Here is the new hydrant in all of its glory. It is a beautiful thing. So happy to have it. I do have some more projects to do, specifically hooking this where we plumbed I'm having a brain fart. Where I plumbed out the shop here to have water go to the back of the barn where the garden is. But I did spend the extra money, and I got the Woodford, Iowa They are supposed to be the best that you can buy. I'm definitely hoping so, because I do not ever want to dig that up again. It was not fun and took forever. We know through the videos that I did, it was not a labor of love. Getting it dug wasn't horrible since I have the backhoe, but the rest of it was done by hand, because I had to actually go, as you saw, underneath the shop to gain access, and then dig pure clay out. And then the rains made it such that it was just, I never could tell if it was a good quality plumbing job. I'm not a plumber by any stretch. So before I go to the extra trouble of filling in the hole, I'm going to make for certain that it is dry, not leaking one slight little bit, because like I said, I never ever want to have to fix this again. I'm hoping that it gives me 30 years of use before it fails. By that time, I don't know, I'll probably be dead, so it'll be somebody else can dig it up from there. But anyway, looking forward now to finish the project like I was showing you. Plumbed out the shop last year, and I just got that resting on a bucket, but it goes up through this ceiling and out at the very back of the barn shop, and that is well, it's 60-foot straight line, but it's much more because it goes, I don't even know if you can see it up in the ceiling. It runs through the ceiling, and then it drops here, runs along this wall, drops and runs out and drops into the wall. Also, where the sink will be for the back of the shop where I'm working, I have a drop there. We plumbed it out such that it will fall by gravity, so that I can open it up in the wintertime and drain it and have no worries of freezing. Also, I have a connection that I used to use for in-ground sprinkler system that I can hook up to it and use the air compressor to blow out any excess water. It's probably overkill, but that's just how I roll. Just making sure that this doesn't freeze. As of right now, I pressure tested it when I first put it in, and that's when I believe the water pressure test was what really probably showed up with the leaking the most. It was before that we saw leaking. It wasn't bad. It was only if you ran it for quite a while, and then after the leak test, it seemed to have gotten worse. I'm guessing just the force of having it just back pressure on itself. Generally, the way those work is it drains when you close the valve. It drains the water out at the bottom, and that's why it doesn't freeze, because it's 4 foot below ground, and that's beyond the freeze point. So having it pressurized inside of the pipe itself, which was already leaking, may have busted out an additional 1 or 2 holes. There were, like I said, I believe there's 3. Anyway, I'm so thankful that this is done and glad to move on with my life. I'm glad that the hole that has been here for like I said, 3.5 months is now finished. I used the gravel mountain that I have here to grade it out with Bertha and get it as smooth as I could. It looks pretty good. I'm not the best operator of that thing because I've never used one, but as I keep using Bertha, I keep getting a little better. It's just experience is all it is, but I think I did a real good job. I'm proud of it anyway. I think it looks good and it looks like it never happened. So this has been a big project. Glad to see it done, and that is the end of this saga. Thanks.